Hi, this is Jeff Crenshaw. I am in the restroom of a coffee shop. I'm about to edit together this old podcast I did over a year ago. It's October 1st, 2019. We recorded this podcast, I think, in June of 2018. And because of the content of the podcast, I wanted to clarify some things. Obviously, I no longer work at Kmart. When we recorded this, I did. Now Kmart has since closed, and the entire building has been torn down, and they've plowed over the land several times. They're ripping out the landscape. They may have already done that. They're making it just a flat dirt field where they're going to build apartments with first floor retail, kind of like some places in Portland or Orinco Station out near where I live, where I am right now. Actually, I'm at the Avas in Orinco Station. Recommend this place. But that's why. If you think it's weird, I'm talking about my job in Kmart in the present tense. It was in the present tense. Also worth noting, this is the last podcast episode recorded as Heavy Set Go. I never liked the name, honestly, for my own reasons. I talked to Ben and he agreed that we should change it, so it's going to be changed after this to Rock and Roll Specialists. I'll explain the story behind that in the next episode, but for now, enjoy the final Heavy Set Go.
One mic, two guys, and a whole lot of heavy. This is Heavy Set Go. Oh yeah.
Hello, I'm Jeff Crenshaw, and you're listening to Heavy Set Go. Ben Eastman isn't here today. He's off, pulling wings off of houseflies.
He's a vampire like Tommy Wiseau.
And laughing maniacally about it, because he's a sadist. As you could guess, Zach Shannon.
Howdy.
The prison guard.
Correctional officer, thank you. What is this, like a sewing kit? Let me throw it at you real quick.
Remember, this is an audio medium, not a visual one.
I'll make it a visual.
Yes, it's a sewing kit. I needed it one day, so I bought it at the Dollar Tree. It's coming.
So then handy. I threw it at you. So there you go. I tried to hit him in the face, but I didn't work out. His face repels everything.
Zach's a corrections officer, which means.
Is that all I am to you, Jeff? Do you not like anything else about me? Or you just want me for my job? I see how it is.
Which means if you commit a murder, your punishment is having to look at Zach's face for the rest of your life.
I mean, that is a pretty bad punishment. My wife signed up for it, but that's not many people are jumping in line.
Oh, God. What was she thinking?
Oh, shit, you're the guy with the stable job. Yeah, I guess so.
Fair enough. Hey, I work at Kmart. That's stable. Kmart's going to be around forever.
Hey, half the people that are at your work were probably at my work at one point. The night shift guys that hang out in the back.
There's no night shift at Kmart.
Oh yeah, you're Kmart's weird. It's gonna burn. So you need to find another job. Somebody that isn't Kmart. Try. You know what? You need to go to a place that's gonna last, like Sears. All right. What? Sears is totally never gonna collapse.
Hey, it's
not like they're owned by the same company.
Well, Sears and Kmart are both owned by Sears.
Yeah, I think they're owned by Sears Holding.
Yeah.
Sears Holding owns Sears, Kmart, and I think they own somewhere. I can't remember what's on that.
I don't know.
That ship is just sinking. Have you gone to the Washington Square Mall, Sears, recently? Half that store is empty.
Yeah, it's
on its way out.
It's really sad because Sears, even in my lifetime, it was like a bit successful store. It's not. It's Amazon. I think that's what it's.
Well, okay, when you look at, like, so for example, Macy's posted that they actually had a really good growth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Target's doing all right. Their companies are doing okay. A lot of those companies, though, also have a really good online retail presence. Like, they're able to do both. You get Sears. Sears did a real bad job of coming into the 21st century. Like, they had no real online presence for a long time. Because stores like Amazon hurt the hell out of them. You know, you need to be able to do both. Be able to have an online presence, but also have a physical retail, location. And that's something that Sears and Kmart, like back in the 90s, like the blue light special, was it 80s, 90s? I remember, like, my mom used to, like, wait in a Kmart with a cart. Like, okay, are you ready for the blue light special? Every hour or whatever, they would shine a blue light on something, and it's 50% off for 20 minutes. Do you remember? Like, that was huge. That was, like, one of the biggest things out there.
We still kind of have a blue light special occasionally.
So do you what are the discounts like? Any good? Or
it's the stuff that we want to get out of the store, so we put it on the rack in the front of the. We put it on this, like, 4-high rack in the front of the store, next to, like, this blue, like, police siren light, and someone gets on the intercom. Attention, Kmart shoppers. Let us please direct you to the front of the store for our blue light special.
Yeah.
And
people used to love that. Like, Kmart was popular, but they fell behind the times. Like, didn't update their technology. They didn't update their storefronts.
Dude,
like,
our cash registers, someone told me that our cash registers are from 1994.
Yeah, I mean, so...
and they're, like, digital, too. It's like 20-year-old computers.
I live out in Pendleton, Oregon. And we just had the J.C. Penney's out there. It was like the fourth ever J.C. Penney's, or fourth or fifth, something like that. But it was the oldest and original location. It's been there for 60 plus years. Been there a long time. Finally went under. And one of the biggest reasons, at least some of the employees said, you go there, it takes 10 minutes to ring up a sale. The computer's from 1989.
Wow.
And they never updated them. I went there for a pair of socks once. And it took us 10 minutes. We were the first customer, and it took them 10 minutes to boot up the computers. Like, we're just sitting there, just hanging. And then it crashed on the second customer, and they had to reboot it again. It's like, at some point, you're just like, I just want to buy a pair of socks or underwear, guys. Come on. You gotta update over the years. You can't just stagnate when it comes to your technology and stuff.
They grew too... They grew too comfortable in the status quo.
It's complacency.
It was.
They thought that they were the top dog and no one was ever going to dethrone them. Amazon came out of nowhere and threw all of commerce on its head. And it's definitely to blame, quote unquote, for a lot of the businesses shutting down. But also, the businesses themselves didn't do it themselves any favors. Sears, Kmart, Abercrombie and Finch, all those ones. They could have done a better job to be more competitive.
Abercrombie and Fitch is gone?
Well, they're not gone, but I'm trying to think of, like, all the companies that have been hurt. Like, Claire, was it Clary's?
Oh, that shop for, like, 5-year-old girls?
Yeah, for, like, 15-year-olds. My wife loved as a kid and stuff like that. Like, there's so many places that could have done better. It just, whoever's running the company just didn't know how to manage it. Didn't know how to bring into the 21st century.
Oh,
the internet...
Course, yeah.
If you didn't create an internet portal, like Walmart right now is actually, they're not my favorite company in the world. They just announced that, like, they're doing 2-day free shipping for all items without a membership. Like, damn, that's pretty competitive. It's like you need to be able to take risks like that to make it nowadays.
Kmart's kind of doing that. You can buy stuff online and, like, pick it up at the store or have it, like, delivered from the company.
That's the great thing about having an in-present store, is being able to order. Like, so, good example of not how to do this. So we were at Barnes & Noble today. I picked up a book. I checked the website. It's $30 on the website. It's $55. It was the D&D 5th edition player's guide. $5 in the store, or $50 in the store. And I'm like, hey, do you guys honor the online price? And they're like, oh, no, we don't do that. And it's like, wait, you're Barnes & Noble, they're Barnes & Noble, you're a corporate store, they're a corporate store. Why is that? Why is there no connection between the two?
Yeah.
It needs to be one company.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great way to bring... If I buy something on the website and they're like, oh, we have it at stock at this location, it's near you, do you want it now? Do you want to pick it up? That's a great thing. That's why I love the Amazon bookstore right now. Like, if you like Amazon, you can just call them up and they'll honor the Amazon price because it's the same store. When I went in there, I got a discount for using the Amazon credit card. I got a discount because I'm a Prime member. I got the exact same price. If there was a random, they checked the website. If there was a price drop on the website for the item in store, they would give me the web price. Like, that is great customer service. Like, that makes me as a consumer, like, I left that store like, I want to come back here. This is great. Like, I loved the Amazon bookstore.
Oh, man.
And I wish more companies, like, it's expensive to do that, which is the down part, and not a lot of places can, but, like, that's how you bring people in.
Right.
And God, I want to go back to the Amazon bookstore before I have to go back.
God.
This is a great place.
We should have gone today.
We should have gone to it.
If
Next time I come up, we're going to the Amazon bookstore.
Me too. And I want to show you Spencer's. Show you it's not the boring place that you think it was.
All I remember that place being like an elf sex shop or something.
Well, dude, I can tell you so many Spencer stories. I can if you want. But
like, what was the one about you finding Xanny bars on the floor? You found like the Xanax on the floor and you posted on Facebook. What are these drugs? I don't know what these are. Because I'm Jeff Crenshaw. And I'm a pure angel. Like, and he really is. He really is.
I'm not.
So he found these Xanny bars on the ground.
I forgot about that completely.
So Xanny bars are like Xanax or a prescription drug.
I forgot really about that.
And he posts a picture, like, I don't know what these are. I assume they're drugs. I've never taken a Xanny bar in my life. I've hung out with people who have. So I'm like, oh, it's Xanny bars, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, drugs in my store? It's more likely than you think, Jeff.
No, I figured they were drugs. I was probably being facetious.
I think you were more shocked at that than you realized.
I was like, these are weird-looking Pez.
Yeah, you thought they were Pez or something.
No, I didn't think they were Pez. They were small. It was smaller than a Pez, but
you thought about it though.
I thought they were drugs. I was just like, I was curious. Like, well, what the hell is this? And honestly, I think the post was half joking, because I thought it's funny that someone just left.
Only half joking though.
I thought it was funny that someone just left their fucking drugs on the floor. They were in a bag, like this little
Working
bag.
at a prison, you'd be surprised where you find drugs.
I'm surprised that people are able to get things into prison, like past like corrections officers like you on the
Up
job.
your butts. So when you process,
I'm surprised you're not like looking.
So
at
I've only worked visitation once. I've been there for 3.5 years now. So what we do is they're not allowed to bring anything else in except some coins. So they can have quarters and there's vending machines in there, and they're only bringing about X number. They can get sodas and chips and all that kind of stuff for the inmates while they're in there. So they go through a metal detector, and you ask them to pat down and stuff, make sure they don't have anything. We're not allowed to touch them or anything, so we can't like pat them down and make sure they don't have stuff. They're allowed to have a 1 minute kiss, it's like 1 minute, something like that, kiss and embrace in the beginning. They're allowed to hold hands as long as it's across the table, and then they're allowed to have a 1 minute like kiss and hug at the end. So those are the
about
times.
Like husband's wife?
That's
it. There's no like conjugal trailers, like
no conjugal visits or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, that's like a weird shit they do in the South. Because how do you pass drugs? That's how you pass drugs. How do you bring in prostitutes? That's how you bring in prostitutes.
Wow.
So, like I said, and they limited it because we've had an influx of like 30 seconds now of like a kiss and a hug.
What?
So, and that's where it's like, you know, the wife or someone will put it in the mouth. I'm working at men's prison. The wife or somebody will put it in their mouth and they'll kiss and they'll go over. So let's say we have 90 inmates that are in visiting. You know, all the visitors leave. We'll randomly strip search 5 to 7 of them every time. But you know, out of 90 guys, you're not going to get everybody. And then, you know, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. They go to the bathroom. They're shoving it up their butt. It happens a lot, shoving it up their butt. Like, they swallow it, and then when they get out, they throw it back up. You know, things like that.
You guys have, the hardest fucking job.
I've stared at a lot of buttholes.
Really?
You get used to it way quicker than you want to. You got a strip search. You're looking for stuff, you know? You'll be surprised what falls out.
I thought you didn't do that thing. I thought you stood back and like, I thought you told me this in like in the first podcast we did together. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought you stood back in like a security kind of way, but a health professional kind of.
Well, okay, so I don't like undress them. So they'll stand in the middle of the room.
Arms up. I'm gonna pull your shirt over your head, buddy.
No, they're like, you know, they'll take out their clothes. You hand them. You have gloves on. You're checking the pockets. You're checking all the shirt. You know, you tell them like, you know, check behind their ears, put their fingers to their hairs. You know, open their mouth. Kind of, you look around it. You know, lift and separate under the armpits. Turn around under your left foot, under your right foot. Squat and give you 2 good coughs. The coughing will drop things. So I've never seen anything. When I've done the search, I've seen stuff to the side where people are like, I'm stripping a guy, and I look to my right, he's stripping a guy, and oh shit, he found something. So he had the paperwork, not me. So, but yeah, so I mean, it's so routine. Like the inmates, you know, it's kind of weird the first couple times you do it, but you try and do it so quick. You're trying to be professional. Like, let's separate. All right, I'm not going to look at it anymore. You know, those people are kind of cool with it. It kind of sucks, but we both realize it's the environment we're in. You know, we're looking for weapons, we're looking for drugs, we're looking for tattoo motors. You know, there's shit that goes down in prison. So, you know, as much as I hate it, like we found things with like guys had like 10-colored pencil. You can fit a lot up there. 10-color pencils. You know, pencil sharpeners, erasers. You know, tattoo motors and the gun and the ink and a bottle.
You're suppressing artistic expression, Zach.
Hell fucking yeah.
Probably a good thing. You know how much John Wayne Gacy's like clown portraits are worth?
I don't even want to know, but like, tell me.
I don't know the exact number, but it's like thousands.
I have no doubt. People have a sick, morbid infatuation with some of these guys. Like the Parkland killer. Apparently, he's gotten like the mass shooter guy. Apparently, he's gotten so many love letters and stuff, and it's just like, what kind of fucking sick people are out there that fall in love with a guy that murdered kids?
Wait, he says that?
No, like the Parkland shooter. Like there are people that are sending him love letters, like to the county jail wherever he's at.
Well, I'll tell you what it is.
Like Dylan, like the guy who killed all the people at the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. The one in Colorado.
Let's not say names. I don't want to give them prestige.
Whatever their names are. Like people are like, I'm in love with you. Oh, you're so great. Like, are you kidding me? Like these are like. I know
exactly what it is.
I have mostly faith in my fellow humans.
Yeah.
Like, even the inmates, like, the majority of people realize they fucked up, they're never going to do it again. But it's just like, there is a sect of people out there that are sane, they don't have any mental illness, and I don't understand those people. You know, when I worked in the MHU, the mental health unit, you know, I understand that this guy's got bipolar. I understand this guy hears voices. They're you know, I can understand that and grasp it. But when someone that's got, you know, quote unquote no issues is a normal person like you and me, I don't know if you're normal, but at least I'm normal. You know, I don't wrap around their head like, how can I do these horrible things, and 2, how can I admire someone that does these horrible things?
I know what it is. I know what it is.
What you got?
Oh, I don't know for sure, but it's
the Jeff Hot Minute.
My theory is, it's a blown up and distorted version of that typical dynamic you see with some girls who fall in love with the bad boy. Except in this case, rather than like the guy that smokes in the classroom or whatever, the bad boy that rebels against authority is someone that murders kids in a school or shoots up a movie theater. It's a distorted, blown up version of that dynamic, but I
get it. It's, you know, people.
It's the rebellion that they're in love
to famous people, and it doesn't matter what made them famous.
Yeah.
It's even if it's murder, it's rape, it's, you know, John Wayne Gacy got love letters. You know, it's like that guy who would have murdered how many people would have murdered these same people, and it's just like people have.
Dude, John Wayne Gacy. That, you know, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was
Ted Bundy. Yeah, he's gotten so many. Again, it's almost everybody. Like, even the people I have, like, the person I work at USCI is mostly sex offenders. Not 100%, but it's like maybe a good 60 to 60-40 ratio, 60 sex offenders percent. But it's, you know, we still have murders, we still have, you know, all those other things, and every once in a while you'll get something from them. You know, I'm not going to say who, but we had a guy that was a high profile case a couple years ago. He gets fan mail.
Oh my God, it's Ford Weaver, isn't it?
He was keeping kids in a closet, or he had a sex dungeon of these kids, and just It's like he gets fan mail. I'm like, are you? It's just those are the people I don't understand. Are the ones that are the most sane. The ones that are the most. I would take somebody that has bipolar any day. They might be, you might have a conversation with them and they snap, but I can understand there's a reason for that. I can't understand these people.
I would never send a fan letter, but if there was someone,
Hi, Roman Polanski. I love your work. I hate you as a person, though.
That's how I feel about Roman Polanski. But I would never pay for his work, but I'll watch it. But
that's why used copies are great.
Yes, that we had a conversation about this. I have my own. We'll get back to the other thing, but I have when I'm like buying movies, I have my own personal rule, which like it can't apply to Weinstein because he's made so much, but like it's hard to keep track of what he's made and what he didn't make. So it's like, fuck, I don't know it. But
I'll add on once you finish your thought and I got something.
But for myself, if there's someone in like a movie or who made a movie or whatever that's done something really despicable, I tend not to like buy new copies of that movie. I'll buy used. My exception to the rule is other than Weinstein because if I know for sure it's a Weinstein movie, I'll buy used from now on.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I'm going to catch it all. But my definite exception to the rule is like O.J. Simpson, because not because I like him, but because he lost residuals to his movies to the Goldman family, and I'm fine with my money going to the Goldman family. I wouldn't want it going to him. But since it all goes to the Goldmans, I'll buy his movies.
Like the thing with movies is it takes thousands of people to make it. And I mean, granted, the biggest name in that, like Roman Polanski, is a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Like he is. But there's a lot of good people trying to make a living and doing a good film too. And it's hard to be like, I'm not going to do it just because the most high profile guy's a dick. We all have our bad day. Like, Christian Bale, like, yelling at, remember, was it Terminator Salvation where he was yelling at that dude? Like,
I don't remember.
Anyway, like, we all have bad days like that. Like, Roman Polanski, that's not a bad day. That's just a bad guy. But like I said, you have so many people working on a set, it's like, do you want to punish all these other people because of the actions of one guy? And it's like, I want to watch, like, Drive, which was the last...
Drive, Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, that was a dang good movie. But it's like, Ryan Gosling's not a dick. Do I want to punish him? Like, some people say yes, some people say no.
Wait.
Honestly, I respect.
Who was the dick that was associated with?
That was Roman Polanski, right?
No.
Fuck. Okay. Who was that?
I don't know.
That's right.
I think I know that he's also directed other movies.
I'm wrong. My bad on that. Thank you for correcting me. But the same kind of premise is like some people are. I'm never going to watch it because it's one guy, or other people are going to be like, well, not everybody was a dick. Some people are trying to make a living and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I can respect either side. I choose to watch.
Me too.
Harvey Weinstein's the one where Bill Cosby. I'm not gonna. I liked the show growing up. Mm-hmm. I'm never gonna go back and watch it. Even reruns. It's just something
the
about. The
illusion's broken.
It's that show is him. It's like Seventh Heaven we were talking about earlier. Was it Stephen Collins?
Yeah, the Flasher.
Yeah, I have that one. I'm gonna have try trouble with because that show is better because it's not just him. There's a lot of other people in that show it focus on and surrounds and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's a hard topic, and honestly, whatever people want to do, I kind of respect it. I don't think there's a right answer to that because it's just like we were saying. It's thousands of people working on the show, working on this series, working on this movie.
Oh yeah, it's
Robert Downey Jr. was a drug addict. He did some shitty things. But he came back around and was able to do good.
He didn't do anything that was irredeemable.
Exactly. That's...
But Roman Polanski raped a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein has done all sorts of like fucking horrible shit.
Well, I was just trying to think of somebody who, screwed up but redeemed himself in a way.
Oh,
like
that's
something like you could come back from.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna like not.
No, I'm saying that's something.
Robert Downey.
I remember my parents used to watch out and be all the time. My dad hated Robert Downey. Because he thought, like, back in the 90s, everyone hated drug addicts. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
Like, he had trouble watching the first Iron Man. because he had the prejudice of Alex McBeal. Granted, like I said, he can come back from that. You can't come back from raping a 13-year-old girl.
No.
But you can come back from, like, if you're not hurting somebody else and you just have a blow up or you hurt yourself, say something stupid, you can come back from that.
Like, that's why I don't really have a problem. Granted, the Mel Gibson is kind of in a gray area because there's been like allegations that he may have like hurt his wife. The
thing about allegations is much.
Mel Gibson. What he did was fucking horrible. He screams anti-Semitic bullshit at a cop. There's audio of him where he like he has a house party and he's going fucking nuts. And,
I
he's
heard
screaming, that. And he's screaming, and you think he's like on the edge of killing someone. He's screaming so loud, but he didn't, and it's kind of a thing where like, do I really want to?
Yeah, he was an asshole and a dick.
I don't really,
but
I'm not going to boycott him. Or
that he didn't do anything, in my opinion, that's unredeemable.
I don't think so.
Like I said, hurting a person deliberately is. Like, when you make the conscious choice to hurt another person, that's, I feel like, goes over the line. Yeah. You can say things, and you still, like, Roseanne Barr. Like, she's an idiot. She said something real fucking stupid.
I think
I'm probably going to go watch some Roseanne. Yeah, I'd still watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Whether she deserved to lose her show or not, like, that's a whole other story. But, like, as a person, I'm like, I can see, we all do stupid things. Like, I'm only 27. I haven't been perfect my whole life. I've said things I regret. I've said things in angers I don't mean. But, if I still said them, I still have to face the consequences of that.
Exactly.
I might be sorry, and I have to prove that, hey, I have said things to people I love. I was a dumb teenager. I've said to my parents I hate them, and I didn't mean it. It probably hurt their feelings a lot, and I was grounded for an X amount of time because of that. But, you have to regain the trust after you do something like that. You have to take your lumps. You have to, just because you're sorry, just because you're drunk doesn't make an excuse. You have to own up to it. Though I think it's also, we have to learn to forgive at the same time, as long as they take proper steps.
Apparently, years ago I told someone that she was a bad singer, like she was singing on the radio, and I don't remember doing that, but it was like something that stuck with her. Like, what the fuck? Why would I? Well, that does not sound like something I would do.
That's the thing. It's like, we got to watch what we say. It really is audience. I could sit around with some of my closest friends, and I can make some really dark humor jokes, and everybody in the room would love it. Okay. I can go to a dinner with some friends that we don't know as well and make a joke like that, and I'm the devil. We've all played Cards Against Humanity with a close group of friends. But the minute you bring in people you don't know and you start talking about dead baby jokes and it's easy to offend people.
I did that on Facebook once.
I'm not gonna sit and apologize that I might be like, okay, I fucked up a little bit. It's still your audience when it comes to some of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Twitter isn't your audience when it comes to these. The person from ODOT, Oregon Department of Transportation, that posted on Facebook, shoot all the kids coming or no, I'm not even gonna say kids. Shoot all the immigrants coming across, and I'm like, the fuck?
I don't think that was a joke.
I've made dark humor jokes in my life.
Yeah.
You don't make it in a public forum where people can listen and hear and share that on social media. You fucked up. And again, she can probably come back from that, but she's gonna face. The thing is, I don't think she's really gonna face consequences. She's gonna, if she gets fired, she gets stuff. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck. She's gonna have to take her lumps. But hopefully she learns from it. People.
But you think that was a joke?
I hope.
I don't know.
But that's the thing,
It's hard to tell these days, with what's been going on lately.
I mean, that's the thing. Everyone, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she takes his lumps. She didn't have a joke, and she's going to suffer for it. But we as humans have the ability to hopefully recover and learn. Everyone says, once you do or say something when you were 21, that's with you for life. You're always like that. That's not the case. Some people learn the hard way. You know, she's going to learn that you don't fucking make jokes about killing people on Facebook.
When I was 20 years old, I made Chunk Thunder in the quest for the Jade Pinata.
And I still think that's funny. I think there's a difference in comedy when people taking a joke and then transferring it to an art form. It's like, I love comedians.
Mm-hmm.
I love like Jerry Seinfeld and stuff like that. And some of the things they talk about is, you know, that's the thing about comedy is you're making people uncomfortable to find a laugh.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the whole point of it. You're hitting stereotypes. You're, you know, saying the worst of the worst. Because there's no limits. There shouldn't be a limit in comedy. The minute you start limiting the free speech of comedy, there's nothing there.
I think the only limit in comedy is when people...
but again, it's know your audience. I'm not going to go to an open bar mic night and make fucking... I can't even think of something right now. I'm not Jerry Seinfeld. I'm not Chris Tucker. I can't say what he says in open mic night.
Yeah. No, but I think there should be no limits to comedy except for the people that get up and say like shitty things and they mean it, but they do it just like disguised as comedy. And then can't you take a joke? Like if like someone goes up and says like racist shit, and it's not it's not like humorous. It's like
comedy is all about context.
Yes.
It's context. That's all it is.
It's context.
If I am up on stage, I used to love going to like Harvey's Comedy Club.
Oh, dude.
I liked going. You know, if you're on stage, like people are gonna say some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there was this drag bar my wife used to bring me to called Hamburger Mary's in downtown Portland. And from my understanding, they would have open mic nights and stuff like that. And they would grab people on stage and bring them up, even if they were straight or stuff, and start like air humping them. Okay. So when we were there for dinner one night, they had a show and they're talking and walking, and the lady jumps on me and starts air humping me.
Good Lord.
It's crazy. It was the first night I was ever there, and apparently they just started doing that stuff. And my girlfriend's like, at the time, wife now, like, oh, are you around? I'm like, fuck, I'm part of the show. I'm here. Like, I'm not going to be offended because I'm the one that came in here. I brought myself in here. I put myself down here. I sat in the chair that was on the stage. I'm part of the show. Like, whatever happens, as long as they don't physically hurt me, it may be a little uncomfortable, but whatever. You know, if you're going to a comedy show, you know, you're choosing to be there.
Exactly.
You know, you're knowing some of the risks that are going to happen. You know,
exactly.
You go to a rally or something. You know, don't go somewhere that you don't have to be to. You don't have to be there.
Exactly.
And then be offended by something someone says.
Yeah.
I've heard some really bad things about me, about my life, about people like me. You know, being a corrections officer, being law enforcement. You know, I'm a fat guy. I'm white. I'm bald. I'm balding. You know, I've heard a lot of shit over the years, but you know what? It sucks, but it's part of you. You have to grow a thick skin. Life isn't.
Oh, I agree. I agree that people comedy should be taken in context, but on the same token, like the Michael Richards rant, that wasn't comedy.
Not with that one.
Oh, you weren't. Well, basically. The year was 2007.
Okay, so we're going back. So that was my sophomore year in high school.
It was like
before when corded phones were still on walls.
It was between. I think it was the summer between my junior and senior year.
Before the recession. That was 2008 then. No, you graduated.
I graduated in 2008. The beginning of the year was in 2007.
So you're right,
and it was like during the summer before that.
So I would be going into my junior year.
Yes. Michael, I think it was then, but I remember it being around that time.
Continue.
Michael Richards was doing a set at the Laugh Factory in California, and he started getting heckled by these audience members who happens to be black.
Oh.
You can see where this is going, can't you?
I can probably see where it's going. 2007, yeah.
And they were heckling him, and eventually the dude just snapped and he just like unleashed a torrent of. He kept saying the fucking N-word over and over to them. You fucking like over and over, and someone in the audience had like a digital camera, and recorded it, and because like video on phones wasn't really a thing then.
Pretty new back then.
But someone just had like one of those old school digital cameras and filmed it, and it made it onto the news, and for a long time it pretty much bummed out his career. He had to go like kiss Jesse Jackson's ass pretty much.
So he was that episode of South Park where Randy had to rotary kiss it.
He's actually a character in that episode of South Park because of that.
Is that him really?
Michael Richards is one of the guys from that episode that he meets in the cornfield.
Yeah,
that's one of the. He's one of those guys. Do you know who Michael Richards is?
No, I have no idea.
Kramer on Seinfeld.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kramer on Seinfeld. And he did that rant.
You dumb. Oh, I'm vaguely remembering watching the video now.
You remember it now?
This is starting to flood back. I know. It's been since 07 or 08 since I saw that.
It's 10 years.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, it was huge when it happened, and people, we're talking about it now. People still bring it up. It almost completely destroyed his career. I think it may have completely destroyed his career.
I mean, it was pretty much almost done anyway, right?
Well, he still had like a fan base and shit. Honestly, he went around and he apologized he apologized like constantly for it.
And that's what I'm getting at is like sometimes
we
fuck up. People fuck up.
That wasn't part of the act though.
Heated.
That wasn't like comedy. That was a distinction between comedy.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He stopped comedy.
Yeah.
To then like address these guys, he could have did way better.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like Enable Iglesias, what's his Fluffy. I've seen him like address hecklers and stuff like that, and just like, dude, come on, we're trying to go. And it's like that's the better way. Get security, kick him out, do something. Don't be. It sounds like he just lost it. They got under his skin. Like they were poking and poking and poking, and they found what got it, and he fucked up. He screwed up hard, and that's, like I said, that's the difference. That wasn't comedy at that point.
No, it wasn't.
That was him losing it, being incredibly disrespectful when he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah. They fucked up badly.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because he was a really fucking talented guy, but you let that bullshit get into your mind. It's like out into the open.
We humans, like when we look at people, we tend to. When we're mad at them, we want to say what is going to get under their skin.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. You fat motherfucker, you C-word this, you bitch that, you go fuck you bastard. There's so many things that we can say to get under people's skin.
You rude individual.
You are very not nice, man. And it's, it sucks. Like, I've done it, I've gotten better over my life of walking away from situations like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you aren't able to walk away, but you just smile on your face, you just stand on. I remember I worked in a deli for 6 months in Albertsons and just listening to people just over and over. Like, they have the I have better than you attitude, and you're just sitting there just nodding like, all right. This coupon, even though it expired 5 months ago, I want to use it today and get 2 cents off this chicken. Man, that coupon's expired. I'm going to talk to your manager. You minimum wage piece of shit. And you're just like, uh-huh. You're a terrible human being, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to smile and nod. I hate that.
Yeah.
But
It's
you have to be the better person in the end.
Yeah, of course.
Let them be the YouTube video, not you.
Right. It's exactly. There's certain situations that I just that you just want to do something but you can't. The hardest time I ever had, I was working at Spirit, and there was this dude that was creeping on female employees, and one of them, like, he asked one of them to, like, one of them was attending the fitting room counter, and he's like, hey, can you help me try on some of these clothes? And he was trying on like all these like skin tight like latex I was like elsewhere in the store. He was these Kensite latex like pants and like underwear. It's like, how does this look? And he wasn't like he didn't have anything on under them. Like they were form fitting. Apparently, you could see every contour. If you know what I'm saying.
I understand the words that you were saying.
And like apparently I think at some point he like pulled it out and stuff. I had no idea. I was walking around. I was just walking around the store.
You're not focused on it, yeah.
It's a pretty big store, and there's like lots of walls and stuff. And I was doing other shit, and I came around. The manager and the assistant manager are up front, and they're like, "Hey, Jeff, we want to let you in on a situation. However, it's a delicate situation, so we should." But we want to, just so you know, and they explain the situation to me, and I'm pissed. I'm immediately seeing red. I want to find the guy and throw him out because that kind of bullshit makes me angry.
Hang on.
And I'm like, and I said, just let me throw him out. I was like, no, we're gonna call the district manager. Who a friend of mine.
Freaking police.
And we're going to do that, and then we're going to we're going to see if we can get his license plate when he leaves, so we can call the police. And okay, and they take the girl, they put her up front, and they send me back to the fitting room. So the guy, and they explained who the guy was, and I was having a hard time. Like, I was trying to see if I remembered him, and then eventually it snapped. I had seen him like before he started doing that bullshit, and I was shocked. He was just like, he could have been like a little league coach of like your neighbor's kid, or like he had like a crew cut, like a polo shirt and khakis. He looked like a youth pastor almost.
That's the thing about sex offenders is they look like everybody. So in prison, the people that give you the most trouble are the guys in first assault, burglary, kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that are getting in most of the fights. They're the ones that are getting most of the gang, the drug, all that stuff. The sex offenders, the rapists, the pedophiles, all that stuff, they're quiet. They're the most normal people in there. Those are the people that...
And that is fucking scary.
As terrible it is, you want them on your unit because it's going to be more calm. And that's terrible. That's terrifying. I mean, all these people, it's like, so we have the ability to look up crimes and stuff like that. And I look up like, oh, what's this guy? He seems like such a decent dude. What's he? Oh, he's in for this. And it's just like the amount of people that just shock me of what they're in for and what they do. And, I'll occasionally do some research on them, like, look up this guy, and it's like, oh, this youth pastor arrested, blah, in Coos Bay, blah, 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 whatever. And you're just like, man, that's the issue. Is it's not like, I've gotten good at telling kind of like who what you're in for what, and like, you're in for assault, yeah, I got it. You're in for kidnapping, yeah, I can see that. You're in for murder, it's... People kind of have an aura around them, I feel like, or at least they carry themselves a certain way.
Yeah.
A sex offender, that's you can never tell, because it's everybody, and it's like
Bill Cosby seemed like the nicest fucking guy in the world.
Bill Cosby, everything you ever hear about him, Stephen Collins, and they just seem like they were decent guys, decent folks, and that's the issue. There's porn on the internet. Go look at that. Go hire a hooker. You don't rape people. God, how hard is... I didn't realize that was a tough thing growing up. But there's some people that have real issues. And if you feel like you're going to rape a person, go turn yourself in. Go see a therapist.
This is
Don't flash a person that works at Spirit. They're a normal person just trying to get through their daily life, and you're bringing this heavy stuff on them. They don't deserve that.
One thing that I've heard that makes a lot of sense to me is like having heard it from people or from like psychiatrists or whatever. I watch a lot of random YouTube shit, like sometimes like experts in various fields. A lot of times
people who do that kind of thing. It's not about sex. It's about
Control.
Power and dominance over another
Power
individual.
and control, and a lot
And
of
you
people,
can't get that kind of thing with consent because there's no power. It's like a mutual thing.
Yeah, go join a freaking BDSM club at that point. God damn.
Right.
That's an issue. Is like,
But that's still consent. And that they lose
to an
a
extent,
feeling
yeah.
of power with consent.
That's
and
true. There's some people
Which
that
is why they should
in
be
their
locked up for
life, the
life.
only people, they're just worthless human beings, and they think that they just have, the only thing they have is power over women, and just like, buddy, you're not special. You're a piece of shit. And it's like I think every guy has had that thought at one point or another. You're watching porn, you're making out with your wife, you have something. That thought is there, and like most people I've ever talked to, everyone's got that feeling. There's just it's there, it's in us, it's instinctual. We just got to overcome it, and I think most people do a pretty good job of it. We have 1,700 people in my prison, or in the state of Oregon, like 1,700 inmates or 17,000 inmates. I'm sorry, something like that. But there's like 4 million people in Oregon, or 3.5 million, or whatever it is. So most people are doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Like people tend to think like if there's a shooting or a rape in Maine, in Portland, Maine, that people in Portland, Oregon need to be scared. Crime's the lowest it's ever been. You're not going to be a victim of crime. The chance of you being a victim of crime is less than ever. Like, it's still dangerous out there. But most people are on the track of, we're living in a pretty decent society. It's just we still have to figure out what are causing these last people, these last refuge. Why are these people still committing these crimes? Why is it still going on? Is you don't have a good role model growing? Most of the school shooters never had a father, or they'd had an absentee father.
That's
was like, things like that. It's like
that's not always the case though.
Well, I said the majority.
Okay, the majority. Okay.
Majority. It's not all of them, but I remember reading something. It was like, was it 17 out of the last 18 shooters, didn't have a dad, or something like that. I need to look at that further.
That's interesting, but that's more. That's like.
Well,
that's a correlation. Doesn't equal causation.
That's it's speculation of why do we have more. Now we're slightly getting off topic again, but why do we have more school shootings now than we've ever had, even though we've had the same access to guns? My father went to school with a gun rack on the back of his truck. It's a normal thing for a lot of people, yet you see it more often. One of the reasons, again, like, is the media thing. Parkland shooter, how many people, you had that attempted shooting, like, after Parkland in Virginia. You had the other one in Illinois where he got shot by the cop, and, like, both of them were saying, yeah, the Parkland guy inspired me. And it's just like, I hate to, the media, you want to report this stuff. But at the same time, they're sensationalizing it to an extent.
What bothers me...
You're showing these guys' names and you're making them famous. There's so many, like... I hate to be a psychologist nowadays trying to figure out, teenagers and kids and why they commit crimes, because it's not cut and dry anymore.
I think one thing I've noticed is I think they're actually doing the sensation. They still sensationalize it a bit. I think they're doing it less than they used to.
Well,
because
the issue. Sorry, you go ahead.
Because they used to like, and they still do it to some degree. But the Parkland guy, I heard his name much less than I heard like the Sandy Hook killer. Then I heard about the dude that shot up Virginia Tech. Then I heard about then they reported on the Columbine killers back in the day.
So 26. Okay, you're good.
Sorry. A lot of people. What convinced me about like why it's bad that the media overexposes the killers in news coverage is like so many of subsequent school shooting perpetrators have cited the Columbine murderers as their inspiration. They're like those they treat them like they're folk heroes and like I want to be like them. And I think when you create that kind of atmosphere. Out of real life killers to become emulatable, I think something has gone wrong in the coverage. And I'm not typically the kind of guy that's like, because it sounds like I'm doing something similar to the people that are anti-video game, but I think the way murderers are covered, particularly ones who are fame seekers, I think that has a bearing on how many more murders happen. And great, that's not the only issue. There are other issues at play, but I think that's a big one in terms of dealing with the mindset of these fucking psychos.
Like, there's no right answer in all this stuff. You know, so actually, real quick, I Googled clear politics, and I read that in the Washington Times article. And they both say 26 of the last 27 deadliest mass shooters were fatherless. So while causation does not cause plurality, what the heck you want to say on that? Anyway, you know, it's something to think about. You know, people growing up without a role model, a good role model. You know, what is a man? What does a good man do? How does a guy become a good man? You know, I like to think I had a pretty good dad. You know, he made mistakes. You know, he worked a lot, didn't see him a lot. But, like, he tried to teach me right or wrong from a young age. If I fucked up in school and got into a fight, he let me know it. You know, I really don't like this free-range parenting of, oh, it's just the kids figure it out on their own. You know, people have the phrase "fake it till you make it." You know, you fake it. I think that's a good thing. You know, if you're trying to do good, act good. You know, maybe you won't get it, maybe you will. But, like, you know, if you want to be confident, act confident. Even if you're not, and then maybe one day you'll pick it up. But it doesn't hurt to, you know, be a good role model, be a good father. You know, my wife has two younger brothers who are both 13. They've been without a dad since they were 5. I've known them. I've been with my wife for 5 years, so we've known the kids for a while. You know, 6, 7 years old, a little over 5 years. So I've known them since they're 6, 7. So I'm the only male real figure in their life. So every time they come up or I try to see them, I make an effort to, like, let's go out. Go shoot some guns. Let's go throw a football now. Play golf. You know, it's just like boys need a positive figure in their life, and their mom is fantastic, but you kind of need you need a guy to relate to. At the end of the day, you kind of do, because, like, you know, their mom is not going through the exact same things they're going through 13. You know, one of them just got caught with porn for the first time, and you know, it's. It's like, you know, I can remember being 13 and, you know, being awkward, and, you know, they're both going to enter high school and stuff, and you kind of need that person. If you don't have that person, you're kind of getting through life. And
you sinner! No, just kidding.
Well, it's just like you need someone to relate to. Everyone's had that. You've had that older brother. You've had that, you know, dad that's gone through it. That grandfather. That close person.
Honestly,
you know? It doesn't need to be a guy, but, like, it's so much easier for a young man to relate to an older man. That kind of stuff.
Honestly, I think my dad's a wonderful person. He's a great guy. But the way life has just happened to have worked out. Like, since I was like 4 or 5, I don't see him any more than like 4 or 5 times a year. And
it's unfortunate.
It is, but I think, and I would never ever claim that I'm perfect, but I think I turned out okay.
You turned out all right.
I'm not going to go
Last
shoot
time I
out
checked,
school.
there were no skeletons in your closet. I think you could step up from Kmart to Best Buy, but you do pretty good. You know, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, not everyone's going to be Tom Cruise. Not everyone's going to be, you know, the guy, was it John Bunzo, the guy that runs Amazon or whatever?
Jeff Bezos.
John Bezos.
John Bunzo.
Bunzo, whatever it was. Yeah, no, you know, everyone's going to be incredibly respectful. You know, we try and, at least, you know, you try to judge yourself, but, you know, as good as your father did. But, you know, sometimes you can do that. Just, you know, all you need to do is just be a simple man, be a good man. Is all the way, you know, that's all I really see it. There's a song called Simple Man, and it really is great.
That's one of my favorite
songs. Just be a simple kind of man. You know, that's all it is. As long as you can be, you know, me and my wife, corrections officer, you know, be decent pay. It's not the best thing in the world. I'm not going to be driving around in a Tesla or anything like that. You know, but, you know, it pays for my family, pays for the house. We took in my sister-in-law because she was having a rough time. We can pay for her. You know, I can afford to come up here to Portland every once in a while. You know, we're not going to live in a 10-story house, but
you should come more often.
We have a good life.
Yeah.
You know, it's all that's the most we can do is just be decent people.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, you know, I hate to say the media, but and all in our lives, we've been told that we have to be better. We have to be movie stars. Everybody wants to be a rock star. Throwing all these lines around, and it's like we're not all those people.
Yeah.
You know, be an electrician, be a plumber, you know, be a carpenter. You don't have to go to a 4-year school. There are ways to be happy and successful in life that don't require you being put into debt or, you know, hurting yourself or pushing your family away.
That's true.
It really is. Everyone needs a role model, and that's why it's like I want to do good by these kids. You know, my 13-year-old brother, you know, they're my brothers now.
Yeah.
You know, before they were just, you know, my wife's, you know, younger brothers, but, you know, I still got to get used to calling them, you know, they're my brothers, and I want to do good by them. I want to make sure that when they leave high school that they know what they're doing with their lives, that they're not going to be school shooters, you know. When they get bullied, they have somebody to talk to. You know, as much as I love my dad, you know, I got bullied in school, and he was a jock, so he never really understood, so it's kind of hard to relate to that, so. But, you know, he would sit there and he would listen.
As I recall, you didn't really take any shit.
I really didn't take any shit. I tried not to. I got into my fair share of fights. But that was my thing. My dad told me, you know, once he gave me the advice of if they're going to hurt you, you need to do what you can to hurt them back. To the point where they would never hurt you again. I got into a fight and broke a nose. They never hurt me again. You know, and some people might not think that's the proper way, but, you know, passing anti-bullying laws, giving people pink ribbons or ribbons to raise awareness for bullying, that doesn't stop a bully. Bullies only know one thing. And at the end of the day, it's fear or force.
I think
it's, you know, at least my philosophy on that is you got to find a way to make them to stop bullying you. And I had a bullying situation in my school where every time I would see this kid, he would hit me or something like that.
Yeah.
And in the front of our school, so I figured out, I tried to find a way to, I always in a place where people didn't see it. So we had a security camera in the front of Century High School. Mm-hmm. And I would sit on the vents over there and eat lunch. So I figured, I'm going to sit in front of where the security camera is. And then he comes over to me and he's with another guy. And he's like, I got your back. You know, he's being a douchebag. And he's hitting me in the back. Like the pat hitting as hard as you fucking can. Like, I got your back.
What a prick.
Anyway, so immediately after that, I walk over to the superintendent's office. I'm like, hey, I got on video this guy who just hit me. And hook, line, and sinker, like I found a way. The bully's not, if, you know, I could punch the guy, but he was bigger than me. He was, you know, you have to find a way to get these guys where it hurts. And for him, I got it on video. His mom came in and watched the video. She beat his fucking ass from what I heard.
Really?
I never, 2 years had that kid, never said a word to me. And honestly, I felt good about that.
After the show,
because I talked to my counselor. I talked to a teacher about this. Everyone talked to the kid. Nothing ever happened. You know, I could have, you know, if I could have fought him off, I probably would have. But he had friends. That wasn't a thing. So I had to find a way to outsmart the guy. And that was...
You never told me this story before. This is great.
That was perfect. That was... I think I was 9th grade at the time.
That's brilliant.
15.
Did you, like, get a copy of that video?
No. It was just security. I talked to him. What was the counselor lady name? Bachman. She was the bigger lady with the shorter haircut, the pixie cut.
The vice principal? That was Miss Geis?
Yeah, was it Geis? Yeah.
She was the vice principal. She's the principal now.
Is she a principal now? Well, she was a counselor when I went to high school.
The one.
She was kind of a heavier set lady. She was a little shorter. Anyway. So
that was vice principal Geis.
Okay, maybe that was her because I went to her with it, and she was the one that like I'll deal with it. And then that's you have to find a way to really get these guys where it hurts. Whether you're fighting them, you're going to their parents, you're doing something. Find a way for them to not come after you. Because at the end of the day, it's you. You see all these kids and they're committing suicide because they're being bullied, and it's like your life is worth more than the bully's life. I'm not saying go out and shoot them. That's not the right course. And that's what a lot of people are coming up to, and that's bad. There needs to be another way to deal with these guys that isn't, I don't have an answer to it. But it's frustrating to think that the only way some of these people feel like they have out, is to either shoot the guy who's bullying them or kill themselves. And it's frustrating. You got to find, being bullied is depressing. but you just have to find a way.
The one, I agree with a lot of what you said. I have a couple of one disagreement.
Hit me with
and
your
one,
best shot.
one kind of a minor disagreement. The minor disagreement is, I think there's value in the anti-bullying laws and trying to make infrastructure in a way that trying to kill out bullying through infrastructure and programs. I think there's value in it because, well, I agree with the ethos of standing up for yourself if you must. I don't think kids should have to fucking do that. I think if at all possible to defuse the situation before it gets to a face-to-face confrontation. I think that's the best way, and I think whatever symbolic, like the ribbons or whatever they think will work. I think it's worth a try. However, I do agree that when the rubber hits the road and you're in a situation that you're about to get fucking attacked, I think you have a right to fight back to protect yourself.
Like, I'm not fully against like anti-bullying campaigns and all that stuff. Like, I think it's good to raise awareness and say the stuff's happening. I just feel like when that's your only solution, that when it's like, oh, he'll stop eventually. Just change your, stop wearing that skirt. Maybe the boys won't talk to you. I feel like it puts blame on the victim to an extent that, it will just get better. Don't worry. Well, what I'm getting at is the world. We live in a really great society, the safest we've ever been. I hate to admit we've run a little soft when it comes to that. Like the world is not always good. Not everybody always follows the law. Sometimes you have to learn to stick up for yourself. You have to be your hero.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do it. And ask for help. Find a friend. It's always good to go for a teacher. I wish I went for a different teacher than the one I did. And but sometimes you have to be the one to stick up for yourself. You have to have confidence in yourself. And like I said, it's tough too. Sometimes it really is, especially when you're a fat, dorky, 15-year-old.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of confidence in yourself and your actions. But like I said, you have to learn. You have to learn to grow a thicker skin. The world isn't always a happy place.
But I think there needs to be before I go to the next thing.
Pivot, turn.
I want to
segue.
The other thing I wanted to address from what you said before, usually, like when kids are bullied and they end up, at least in the case of the Columbine killers, I've read, as much as I hate that they get so much coverage, I've read about them because I'm fascinated by them.
Oh, but they're the first big ones.
Yeah.
What caused them? Where so many other kids have been bullied their whole life. Why were they the one? That's why it's fascinating.
But the thing about them is they were fucking bullied. They were treated so like such. They were treated like shit. They were whenever one of their friends. One of their friends wrote a book about his experiences and knowing them, and I read the book because I wanted to know what the fuck happened. I wanted the inside story, so I read the book, and the shit that these kids went through at school. But the point I'm getting to is when they came back to attack, how many of the bullies do you think died? And
they were looking for
none. That they only shot. And I'm not saying the bullies should.
I thought they were going for. It's been a while since I've read up on them. They were looking for the people with the pumped up kicks, or the jocks, or the people that they were looking for someone that wore something specific because they were trying to call it the jocks, right?
Well, those are the people they had the main grievances with, but they didn't go just to. Let's not talk about their specific motives, because I don't want to give their big fucking thing airtime. But I just want to say that I don't think it would have been good if they'd killed the bullies either, because that'd be fucked up too. But none of the people they killed were their tormentors. They were just innocent kids at school.
They were mad and looking to vent their frustration by killing everyone they could, and that was awful. Yeah. The one kid they spared in the library, they spared him because he was the one nice kid to him, and that stuck with me a lot. I remember listening to they were killing people in the library, and the one guy, the longer hair one, I can't remember his name, was looking. He had his gun pointed at the kid, and he was like, hey Jason or whatever his name was, and he told him like, get out of here, go, because he was the one kid that was decent to him, and that's always stuck with me. It's like every day is an interview, is what we like to say in the Oregon Department of Corrections. If you want to interview and try to promote, you want to have you want to ask a favor from somebody. Every day, your actions lead to what the future are. So it's just like if you're a good person, I like to believe in karma. Hopefully that comes around. Not to say none of the kids on the ground, like they didn't deserve that, but it's just something that's always stuck with me. A
lot of them are really good fucking people that were killed.
A lot of them are good people that didn't even fucking know those people. Like they were in the crossfire, and it's like that's always stuck to me. Is like why did he asked the question like why did I survive? Maybe those other people did the exact same thing, but something he did stuck out. And it's
the one I know about is. Brooks Brown, he was like out smoking in the parking lot when one of the shooters. Again, I don't want to use names.
I don't even remember their names.
I do, but I don't want to use them.
Right.
Like one of the shooters pulled into the school parking lot, and he walked up. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he finally deciding to come to class. He thought it was like halfway through the school day, and he thought it was odd that he was pulling in. It's like, "Oh, you're finally coming to school," and the dude's like, Brooks, I like you. I like you now. You should leave. And he's like, okay. And he went back down to the sidewalk where he was smoking a cigarette, and he was deciding whether or not he should go back to class when he started hearing shots, and then he ran as fast as he could away from the school.
Yeah.
But the
couches suck.
Sorry.
These are so not comfortable.
Sorry about that. He wrote this book called like No Easy Answers, and I recommend that book because it's about his relationship with them, but it doesn't glorify them in any way. I don't think it's a
and like I said,
great
like,
story.
You don't want to give them coverage, but at the same time, as the study of the American psyche, like what, out of all the years and all of the things that have ever happened, what made them do it? And that's interesting. It's like, so one thing I don't like about like how Century High School, like they handled my boys and all that kind of stuff. I had a couple of years. It was like, one, everyone's afraid of a lawsuit. You touch the kid, you kick him out, we're gonna get sued. But two, every kid is like a special snowflake. Oh, little Johnny didn't do wrong. Oh, that's our own guy. He's a good dude, whatever. He'll get over it. It's like, back in the day when my dad went to high school, he grew up in a small town. They only had about 60 people in his graduating class, 60, 70, something like that. When they had someone do that shit, they took him out back and like beat his ass. They didn't have that kind of stuff. I mean, people, at least specifically in their town, that's the stuff they kind of did. You couldn't do that stuff. You had the principal grab a guy by the ear and throw him out the front door. Don't come back till your attitude changes. They weren't afraid. And granted, there's definitely bad parts of that too. Don't get me wrong, they fucking beat up a kid. They're the principal was throwing kids out. But I mean, you can't just have a kid sit there and berate another kid over and over, this online cyberbullying, and you got 12-year-olds killing themselves because they're getting Facebook messages every day.
Have you ever seen the documentary Bully?
Like, I am a big proponent of slapping the fuck out of a kid. I grew up with that. I grew up to be a decent guy.
You are a decent guy.
I wasn't fucking, I didn't get my ass beat, but when I did something stupid, like when I punched a friend, like when I was a kid, because I was a dumb idiot, and I slap, or I called a teacher a fucking bitch in 5th grade.
5th grade?
I maybe have done that a couple times throughout my years.
I picture you as like...
They called my dad. Oh, wait till dad gets home. Oh, shit, there goes the belt. And you know what? And people can argue all this psychology about how it hurt kids and stuff like that at the end of the day, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. I didn't do it anymore. I stopped.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, it's like maybe you need a little fear in your life. You know, you need to not be a terrible person, and just telling kids to not be bad. Look at Lord of the Flies. I know it's not a fucking like true story events, but it's like I could fucking see that just happening. These kids, oh, you're a good kid, go in the world, no structure, no role model, no nothing. Like they're gonna fucking start killing each other.
For me, what worked for me as a kid was I do something like stupid or bad. Like, well, how would that make you feel if someone did that to you? And like, oh my god, I'd feel bad. So maybe you shouldn't do that anymore. Okay. And
do people not like? Whenever I get really angry, I don't redline I don't redline that easily. I remember times where I've been so furiously mad, and I've had a phone in my hand. I want to slam it down, and I got close, and then I'm like, I got that little. I have a little voice inside my head that constantly tells me I'm doing something wrong, and it bugs the shit out of me because sometimes I want to ignore it, and when I ignore it, that's what I regret. You know, I have this strong sense of like, am I doing what's right? I was gonna throw I remember this one conversation I had back when I was 15 with my mom, and I knew everything in the world, blah blah blah, and I was gonna throw my phone on the ground. I got close, and the little voice is like, "That's not a good idea. You need to not do that." I'm like, "Fuck, you're right." You know?
Oh god.
And it's
feeling,
not like that voice is always there. That voice develops through other people's influence on you, your own actions.
Yes.
You know, it's good to have. It really is. And people that don't have it, like the people in my prison, like you see people growing up with, you know, their parents getting meth at 10. You know, they didn't have a chance. They never had that role model. They never had that person that told them right or wrong. And now they're 40-year-old and they've had 2 kids and they beat their wife and they beat their son, all this stuff, and they're just continuing the cycle of violence. And it's like, I feel...
That's horribly sad, man.
I feel bad. You know what? That's the thing. It's like when I say about, like, not everybody that goes to prison is a bad person. Some people are just... You know, everybody has a choice. That is, you know, people are like, everybody has a choice. But that's true. But when you are... But some people
what makes
have
a bad
the
person?
odds stacked against you really badly.
But, like, what... Isn't that how a bad person develops? Because no one comes out of the womb, look, that's a bad person. Somehow you have to go from an innocent child to...
The one thing I will say when we come out of the womb is we're selfish. You know, whether that's good or bad, and then it's trying to figure out, you know, it's like, I'm selfish.
That's true.
You know, but, you know, is my selfishness bad? You know, I think I try to work a decent job, provide for my family. You know, my family is first and foremost. That's why I'm selfish. I don't do my job for free. I'm not selfless. But at the same time, you try and be a good person. You know, Anyway, I kind of got you off track on that. I'm sorry. But yeah.
But, I mean, my point is, like, infants are selfish, simply biology, evolutionary. They cry because they need to survive to get the parents' attention, but they're innocent. How do you go? You say that the people that got like meth and shit as a kid, whatever. But the implication is that they're not bad people. But what does make a bad person? Is it? It can't just be like the nature of the person itself. It has to be something that happens during the development stages or along through the lives.
I think of what a bad person is it's your actions, the actions that you choose to commit, and whether you regret those actions or not. I think is what really.
So regret is the.
I would think that would be a big factor, because you could have done a bad thing. So we have child molesters at my prison that brag about what they've done. Say that they will go.
Them. I do not redline on them.
Sometimes it's hard, but you have to. You know, you have to treat everybody. I don't read crimes anymore. When I started, that's all I wanted to do. Now I just don't. You just treat them like a person best you can.
But when they're bragging about
there are people like, don't do it in front of me. If you continue to do that, I'm going to consider that disrespect or something, and give them a conduct order. And just, it's hard to redline sometimes because there are some legitimately bad people out there. But then for every bad person, what I think, there's a person that like I can think of 3 or 4 people off the top of my head. That 5-6-year-old, you know, their parents are drugged out on meth. They took their first sip of alcohol. You know, they were smoking by the time they were 9, smoking meth or heroin or something. And it's like, you know, some of these people are decent folk, but like I said, everyone's got a choice. But do they really? Like when you're that young, And this is life. You know, when I grew up, you know, we were always middle upper class, and I thought everybody lived like we did. You know, some people maybe didn't much, but then, you know, when I was 20, you know, or no, it was in 19, it's just like knowing, I started going out in the world more and seeing these people, and just realizing that's not the case. You know, it's like everyone's got this view of their own world, and they think it's normal. And these people are growing up, you know, seeing their fathers beating their wives, seeing their older brother running drugs and breaking into houses, and they think that's good. They think they're being a good person, or at the very least, their twisted ideology of it. You know, and then they run into the law.
It's just like thoughtlessness. It sounds like.
Well, at some point, it's just like
sense of
what is life? What is good? What is wrong? How do we know that? Like I said, it's, you know, growing up, it's like I was big into cartoons and anime, and I loved like Naruto and stuff, and seeing what a hero was and stuff, and it's like finding role models and trying to live up to their ideals. When your role model is your older brother, like, that's great. When your role model is your older brother who slings drugs and, you know, slaps women around, that's kind of less great. You know, you still idolize the guy. He's your older brother, and he takes you in, and hey, he's gonna give you some alcohol when the parents aren't looking. You know.
Have you ever seen La Bamba?
No.
Okay, we should watch that sometime.
But it's just like, you know, people need to realize, like, when you see a mugshot or something, everybody has had a different life growing up than you. And for me, it is hard to understand how some of these people have come to the point. But then some of these people, it's like, I can see it. And I feel bad for these people. I'm still going to treat them like everybody else, you know, but that doesn't, I'm not going around beating people or anything like that. But, like, I'll go around, I have good rapport with people, we'll talk to people. You know, I remember there's one guy getting out here in a couple months, and, like, I've been talking to him about, you know, what are you going to do when you know, get out with your son? And it's like, oh, I'm going to get a job doing this, blah, blah, blah. Are you going to be able to support your son doing that? Well, no. Well, you need to find a job that you're going to be able to support your son and be able to send him to school. Yeah, you're right. You know what I need to do. You know, you got to open up people's worldview. That's kind of the one thing I like about prison, is if your life is on a wrong path, I've heard a lot of inmates refer to it as a pause on life. You know, you get 5 years because I think of one guy we have in our electrical ship program. I'm not going to name names or anything, but there's I remember reading a KATU story about him, which is still up. You know, we robbed a place and almost kidnapped a lady in North Portland when the robbery went bad, and he came in as kind of a dirtbag, and now he's cleaned up his act. He's kind of well respected. He's getting his electrical license through EOCI, and just like the guy didn't have a chance growing. I don't know 100% about his life. He didn't have a chance, and it's like hopefully, you know, he paused. You know, he's trying to better himself through a program, and I really hope when he gets out, it's like you never see him again. You know, I
your
wish
prison
there were,
sounds like a prison the way a prison is supposed to work theoretically.
Well, theoretically, the issue it all comes down to is the money. You know, it's, do we have money? There's 1,700 people. You know, it takes $40,000 a year to feed, clothe, and do all that kind of stuff. You know, it's a lot of money at the end of the day. It takes a lot to pay.
Is that per person, or?
I don't know the exact top. I mean, it's like 40,000-ish, something like that per year. To house, fees, clothe, you know, all that stuff. It varies. It might be 44,000, something like that.
That sounds pretty low for a prison of.
Well, I mean, when you've been doing it for this many years, it's streamlined. You know.
But if that figures for everybody.
No, per person.
Per person, okay.
No, per person, yes.
Okay, so, that makes more sense.
Yeah, we have a lot more money then. And it's just, you know, almost 50% of the Department of Corrections budget is medical costs. You know, insulin pills, hospital trips. You know, and that budget is growing so much, and we keep having to cut stuff. You know, we have college classes. So we have, like, if you come to the Department of Corrections and you don't have your high school diploma or a GED, they will almost force you to get your diploma. Or to get your GED, I'm sorry. So when you get out, you actually have something.
Yeah.
You know, Measure 17 was passed for the voters back in the 90s, so they have to have some kind of programming. Be that a job, be that religious, be that school. They have to be doing something, not sitting on their butt. You know, and that also created a bunch of jobs. So we have an electrical ship program. You know, granted, only like 5 or 6 inmates can do it at a time. But, you know, on the outside, they try and help you get a job. Plumbing, HVAC.
What's the selection
process? Garment factory. It's, you know, you have to be. We have 3 levels in the prison. levels 1, 2, and 3. 3 being the best. You know, you're the best of the best.
And
1
they're the
being
ones that are allowed
lowest.
to go.
Yeah, and they're the ones you have to have clear conduct. You have to not have like identity theft is a big one.
What about? Are there any other like non-business crimes that are prohibited from that? Like the sex dungeon dude, is he like getting electric?
Foreseeably, I'm not 100% on that, but I think they want a release date for some of that stuff. 600 guys never leaving prison. He's gonna die there.
Yeah.
So he got like 1,000-year sentence or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
So anyway, so it's like some of them like they want to see a release date. But I'm not 100%. I don't hire for that kind of stuff. I just, it's not. We don't have as much as we want. We really don't. Like we wish we could have more, but it's just at the end of the day it comes down to budget. And the hope is that the people that do get it, they, from what the statistics, the DOC tells me, is that they have a higher chance of not coming back, and I really hope that's the case. Because I've only been there for 3.5 years now, and I've already seen 5 or 6 people come back. It's weird to see like someone leave. I'm never coming back again, and then they go off to a city, and then they hook up with a girlfriend that was giving them the drugs that were downhill, and oh hey look, you're back. Oh, I didn't know you were coming back. Yeah, I wasn't planning. I got 10 years this time.
Wow.
And just casual. Yeah, I just got 10 years. It's whatever. I'll be back.
10 years.
Yeah, it's just
that's not a big deal.
I mean, when you have people in there for life sentences, 10 years is a short time.
I would be so devastated.
And so, I mean, we go by months, though. Like, I got 36 of those, 960 months. I got 192 months. Stuff like that. So it's like, I only got 180 months this time.
Wow.
It's a lot of time. Yeah, just 1 month at a time.
Wow.
So it's not perfect, but, the hope is by the time they get out, that's kind of one of the jobs at our prison is, as much as you can, you got to try and be a role model. There's a lot of younger guys that have never had a good influence. And most people do, we have issues with some inmates. For the most part, things run pretty smooth. You don't have an issue. As long as you try and be a decent person, treat inmates like people, they're going to treat you back, and it works out.
The one thing I've always...
Mostly.
The one thing that I've wondered is how hard it must be if the only friend you have in the world outside of prison is a drug pusher. Like, if you go out and try to improve your life without reuniting with that one friend that you have, how lonely that must be. Is there like a social program to introduce them to people that aren't horrible influences?
Some. It's once they're out of the DOC, that's other departments. They're supposed to be catching that, halfway houses, there's post-prison supervision and stuff like that. But a lot, it doesn't matter what we give these guys, it's going to be their conscious choice to whether they might be your best friend at 20 years, but if they're the reason you showed up in prison, you might have been married to this lady for 10 years and had kids. If she's the reason why you're in all these things, for your own sake, you have to cut them out.
Yeah.
They tell you the story of my uncle. I'm not going to tell them on here, but similar. So if you go to prison and then leave and doing good for 6 months, it's not a good idea to go meet up with your friends that got you in prison.
Yeah,
that's a bad idea. That leads.
That's the plot of Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
No. I've heard of. I think you've talked about it before.
Watch that movie. It's so goddamn good.
And that's the worst part is you have to cut off contact, and it is lonely. It is rough, especially if you're a felon. It's hard to get a job in an apartment. It's kind of the issue with.
So you're alone, jobless. No wonder there's some recidivism.
So the Oregon Department of Corrections. Starting last year, they started collecting money out of inmates' accounts that they put into a bank account, and then they'll get every month they'll take 5% or whatever, something like that. They'll put in a bank account, so when they get out, they'll have some kind of money.
How much do they make? How much money do they make?
So it depends on what they do. So the garment factory and the call center. The garment factory, they make the prison blues, the jean line, stuff like that.
Do they make the Pendleton blankets there?
No, the wool mill blankets, no. So they make the Pendleton wool mill blankets in Pendleton, just not at the prison.
Okay, gotcha.
But they sell, so they provide all the clothing for inside the prison, all the inventory. but they also sell it to other vendors and stuff and to regular people. So that means they have to make a federal minimum wage. So they make $7.50 an hour or whatever the federal minimum wage is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a call center, they work a job and they have taxes and deductions and stuff and they get paychecks. And like I said, they work 40-hour a week. They make $7.50 an hour. But if they work inside jobs, like you're a unit orderly or something like that, 75 cents a dollar a day. You know, not too much. So, I mean, a whole lot. You have, like, the electricians make, you know, we have a PRAS system, which is like a point-based system, and, you know, the more points you make, the more money you have. It's like 1 to 19 or 17 or whatever. I don't deal with the PRAS points much, so I don't know exactly what they make, but, like, you know, 7 PRAS points is like $50 a month or something like that. You know, if you earn 17, you're getting $250 a month. You know, things along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll charge you for rent. The department will charge you to live there. So you have to cover the costs. So
it could be hard. That's like the halfway house. That's like something that you they'll cover for the time being, but it's something you have to pay back later on.
yeah, it's like, you know, the prison doesn't want you to be there. You know, they're going to charge you for room and board. Sucks. Don't come to prison. Don't kill a guy. Don't stab a lady.
Right.
Yeah, I remember when I started, there was an inmate. I almost said his name, but I'm not going to. And I remember him and another inmate talking right after count, so it was kind of quiet. I was in a dorm unit, so those guys, like, I kind of got halfway in the conversation. They were talking about, like, why he's in, like, he robbed a lady.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, man, I would never come up from behind a lady to rob her, man. There's no honor in that. And the guy's like, fuck that shit. When I put my gun in her face, I earned that money. Who gives a fuck about honor?
Oh, I remember.
And I'm just like, you
that story.
I just wanted to throw my hat at him and just call him like a fucking, like, what kind of life do you have? Like, that's your worldview. It's, fuck yeah, I'm gonna rob this lady. I'm gonna take everything she has. I don't give a shit. Put a gun in her face. And you're just like, oh.
That doesn't sound like a very good.
It's frustrating sometimes, but like I said, most people, I'd say a good 85% of the people realize they fucked up and won't do it again. And that's what the statistic, it's like, I don't know off the top of my head, their citizen rate's like, what, 15 to 25% or something. It's pretty low. We're in most states.
Do you have? I'm curious. I don't need any like specific information.
Yeah.
Do you have like former public figures, like judges or politicians or?
I can think. Trying to think. I'm not gonna name names. I think we have at least 2 cops at my prison.
Damn.
There's we have a place for them in the department. I'm not gonna say where.
Oh, that's okay. But they're kind of segged.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, they're inmates, and they're going to be put wherever they want. So it sucks no matter what you were.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they get targeted more. So they're separated for their own safety more than anything else. But they don't have to be.
If they're like the arresting officer of another inmate?
Well, so we have conflicts in the prison. So, like, you know, when my uncle was in prison, I had him as a conflict. So I could not work at the place he worked, and he could not be where I am. Mm-hmm. I could go wherever I wanted, but they would immediately move him, and it wouldn't be his call. You know, inmates, you know, if we had an inmate, we had a fight in the cathedral during service one of these days.
Oh, Lord.
Where a guy, a guy raped a girl, and the guy who came into prison for something else, mm-hmm. but testified against that guy because his niece was raped. It was his niece that was raped by this guy, and they were in for 2 separate crimes. So no one, if we knew about that, we would list it as a conflict, and they would be in different places. But the minute he saw him, he took off and grabbed a chair and just started going at him. You know, fought him off. We had a volunteer that had to step in between the two.
Who attacked
the fighters? You know, the guy who had his niece raped attacked the guy who raped his niece.
I honestly cannot blame him.
Oh no, I'm not going to say I can't blame him, but you know, we can't have fights.
You can't allow that.
We can't have that. We can't allow that in prison.
Do you remember?
Actually, now they have a conflict, and they will never see each other again. They will never be in the same prison. But you know, then again, sometimes you have people that.
Do you remember the?
There's different degrees of conflicts. Whether they just know each other and they're good. Like this guy's brother and sister. You know, these 2 guys are brothers. Yeah, they can be together. Or hey, this guy tried to murder this dude. Do not have them with each other.
Yeah. Do you remember the Olympic doctor that like raped all those girls, or like sexually abused all those girls, and the father was in the.
Oh,
Larry
the
Nasser.
The courtroom, and then
And the father was going like, Your Honor, can I...
1, you can't do that. 2, bravo.
Yeah!
That in that order. 1,
right.
you cannot do it. 2, bravo.
You cannot do that, but I understand.
I get where he's coming from.
He charged the guy, and honestly, I don't blame him at all. I honestly don't blame him.
No, I don't.
The guy was a sick fucking monster.
I know. This is why I'm a proponent of the death penalty. That we have people on our death row that are freaking awful human beings.
Your prison has a death row?
My specific doesn't. I'm a medium, so the maximum in Salem, Oregon State Penitentiary, OSP, has the death row unit. And even though we have death row on the books, Kate Brown says that she doesn't want to put anyone to death. There's some bad people out there that need to die. There's some real bad people. The death row, I'm not saying it needs to be like Texas and we have it, but there's some Hagen, and there's a couple bad people on there that I believe in death penalty. There are some bad people that have no redemption.
I'm so conflicted on the death penalty. I used to be completely for it, but recent years I've rethought everything I used to believe. Honestly,
like
the last couple of years.
We can start a blank slate where it has to have DNA evidence. We have to have video or something. I don't care, but like there needs to be some people that shouldn't be alive anymore. I'm not saying it needs to be for everything, but like when you have a sex dungeon and you have 12 kids tied up and they're there for years and they're being sexually molested and stuff, you have ruined 12 lives. 9 out of 10 kids who are molested are going to go molest another person. That's just what it is, the psychology around it. So he just created 12 more victims that are going to keep going and going and going. You know that there are people's crimes that are so heinous, or that you have an inmate murder another inmate in prison. How are they going to be in general population? You know, they are a threat to the staff and to the inmates. They're, the guy, you have the 2 bombers that blew up, that killed the sergeants in, what was it, Sherwood or Wilsonville, the ones that planted the bomb outside the bank.
The one that was like in 2002 or something?
Something like that, yeah. They're still sitting in death row, the father and son.
Wow.
We have one female. We only have 15 people on death row. But if you go look at a lot of those crimes, they're heinous. Like, this is not just, oh, I shot a lover out of revenge. It's like Wayne Gracie shit. It's bad, and it's like, people. I understand the people that are against it, and I'm not going to be like, I can't blame them. That's a touchy subject. That's bad. If we need to change it to, we have to have DNA evidence. It can't just be, hearsay or something. Or if we have a video of a guy stabbing another guy, or the guy is like, yes, I did it. Like the Hagen. So I think his name's Hagen. He sued Kitzhopper because Kitzhopper put a stop to the execution, and he said he was ready to die.
I remember that.
And he lost that lawsuit. He lost the lawsuit. The death row guy said he was ready to die. Well, so that's one thing I don't like about right now is they say death row's off. Okay, if you want to say no death row, all right, I'm with you. Whatever. I'm not like, yeah, death row forever. I'm gonna die on that cross. No, I like it, but it's not my, But if they want to stop it, but they just said they're going to put a pause. So everyone on death row now has no idea whether they're going to die or not. So you're leaving these people in limbo. Either make a decision that yes, there's death row, or no, there isn't. Because that's what he argued, was that what am I going to do? Like, should I think I have a future? Should I not? Like, that's almost fucking agony. Because death row is the most locked down unit. 23 and a half hours a day, you're locked in your cell. If there's no more death row and they go to maximum, they're going to get more freedoms. Whether you agree with that or not, they're going to have a better quality of life. So we need to make a decision. It can't, even though they're shitty people, we can't leave them in limbo and be like, yeah, we might kill you. We don't know. I don't know. That kind of seems douchey.
My question is, obviously, in some cases they're more dangerous than like the typical maximums, but just for like someone sentenced to death row, who isn't like Hannibal Lecter in chains or whatever, why are they why are there that much more restrictions on them than why aren't they in like,
They
the
have
maximum?
proven to be just a great threat to society. I
But
can't
isn't
tell you.
everyone like in the maximum security prison. Isn't everyone there a great threat to society? What
I mean,
separates them
if you
from the
just like,
maximums?
if I go and shoot you, I didn't have a good motive. I just felt like it. You know, I might get murdered. I might not. I don't know. I'm gonna get murdered.
Mhm.
But you know, I just killed you. I wasn't trying to. I'm not a serial killer. I'm not going around indiscriminately killing. It's like I can't give you the exact quote off the top of my head. I'm exhausted. What time is it? It's like past midnight now. But it's just, you know, how heinous was the crime? Are you a threat to society? Are you a threat to the safety of other inmates and other staff because your crime is so heinous? That's like one of the biggest issues. You know, do they think you are so dangerous that when you come in that you would murder, like I said, staff or other inmates?
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge factor. At least I remember reading something like that in Texas. Like that's their biggest factor. So, you know, it's like, how evil are you? Like I said, the bombers that, you know, they planted a bomb outside a bank killing cops, like, death.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't know every crime off them. I've read them. I remember I worked graveyard one night and I read a bunch of that stuff, and a lot of it's you churn. It's not good. It really is.
I've read stories that just made my blood run cold.
Yeah, and it's and that's a small, you know, those people are out there. They're real sad. You know, you need to keep an eye out for your own safety, but those people are the exception, not the rule.
Exactly.
There's so
Most people
I
are
think
good.
that's one thing is people think they're not safe anymore, but people are more safe now than they've ever been. It's just reported more. You know, like I said, we have 1 million people in the metro area. You have a shooting in North Portland that affects 2 people. All 1 million people freak the fuck out, and they get scared. Which, I mean, doesn't mean be heightened alert, but like I still lock my windows at night.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean I barricade the door.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't South Africa where you have to have a gate inside your home that separates the bedroom from the living room, so when people break in, they don't kill you. Like, that's a legit thing South Africa. A lot of homes in South Africa have. All the windows are barred, all the doors are bars, and then you have a heavier bar in the hallway.
I had no idea about
From
that.
coming in. Yeah, it's crazy. Do you
Wow.
want to talk about a crime spree? Woo! That's
Okay.
right.
What? I know you're getting tired, but I figured since we've been talking about like really dark shit.
Some real. This podcast was. We started this by watching The Disaster Artist.
That's what I wanted
It's
to
a
ask.
great movie, by the way.
What do you think of it? Like, what do you think of The Disaster Artist? That's what I want.
Oh my god! I even yelled and like screamed and be like, "What the fuck?" And I had to cover my face with my hat. Like I had to put my hands in my ears. Be like, la la la. I can't watch it since I watched The Room. So I guess it did a great job. I loved it. That was so much fun.
And you met Tommy Wiseau with us
I still haven't
before.
read the movie. I met him twice and 3 times.
I think 3 times you came with us.
Well, the third time he showed up at the beginning. So we went to 3 screenings of the movie over the course of a couple of years. The last one we went to, I took my wife to, then girlfriend at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he was at the beginning of the show. He's like, "Hey, thank you guys for being here. I love you." And they're like, "Oh, he'll sign autographs at the end." And then he left. He left 5 minutes in the movie.
That's
no
like so
fucking
Tommy
autographs
Wiseau.
or anything at the end of the year. He just fucking left. He's like, fuck it, I'm out of here. Like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding? Anyway,
that seems
it's
like a Tommy thing to do. Like
that's
Tommy does what Tommy
Wiseau.
wants.
Tommy pulls up in a fucking limo to the premiere, and then he drives off and goes in a circle, and he comes back. It's like,
It's a great scene.
you're fucking. It wouldn't be Tommy Wiseau if he didn't do anything fucking weird.
What do you think of James Franco?
Jay Frigger did a great job. Him and his brother, like he
Right.
nailed Tommy to an extent. He doesn't have the weird pauses
Mhm.
that he. Tommy Wiseau has, but I think he did a damn good job.
Yeah, it was.
Did a damn good job.
It was good.
It was a great movie. They did a good job with that.
Oh yeah, it's makes you want to watch The Room again.
Makes me want to watch The Room again. I need to go see another showing.
Do you have a DVD of it?
Yeah, I have a signed copy from Tommy.
Man, you should. When you get home,
I need to bring it next time if they ever have Greg or someone come so they can sign it too.
okay. Greg was in town like a few weeks ago.
Okay, so I got to tell everyone the story.
I wasn't able to
so
see.
the first time I went to go see, first time I went to go see the room, it was just Tommy. Second time I saw the room, Greg came too. It was Tommy and Greg. We met him. Like, we talked for a little bit. I made a Facebook post, and I was dumb. I was so dumb. And I tagged Greg Sestero, whatever his name is, without realizing it. And I typed, "Oh, I really like going to the room, but it seemed like Greg was just kind of there for a paycheck." I get a message on Facebook forgetting 3 days later, forgetting that I made this post from Greg, and he was like, "Hey man, I remember you from the room. It was good, it was good talking to you and seeing you. I hope you come out again." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks man, you're awesome." I'm like, "That's so cool, you remembered me." And then Jeff pointed out, like, "Oh, didn't you make a Facebook post?" It was like, "You were someone about that." I was like, "I did." And I was reading, I'm like, "Oh shit." Oh shit, I called him out on Facebook and I didn't mean it.
Oh, no.
Oh my god. And he took like a trooper. And
I bet he's like praying to the. You said I was there for a paycheck, but I wasn't.
Everyone's got, the amount of times they've seen the room and done it, eventually it just kind of becomes, it's a job, you know? There's a passion to it, but at the end of the day, it's work. Ian, who was the guy that did Obi-Wan Kenobi? Ian McGregor? Ian McGregor. He said that was just a job. He took that just for the paycheck. He didn't take it because he loved Star Wars or loved science fiction. No, it was a fucking paycheck. Doesn't mean he didn't put a good job into it and his passion, his heart. Mm-hmm. Greg, he loves doing that stuff. I probably caught him on the one night where he was just like, "Oh man, I'm just not feeling it," or whatever. And I made that post. I felt like a fucking asshole.
Okay. Well, Greg's just... the thing about Sestero is he has a very, laid-back personality.
Yeah.
And, that could come across as being sedate when it's just him being laid back.
So I'm trying to see if I still have that Facebook post. Sorry, keep talking. Or that Facebook message from him. Fuck, damn it. I need to stop getting rid of my Facebook messages.
Do you remember, do you remember when that one night we went to YSO and we ended up pushing a car up this ramp?
Oh yeah, the car the battery was dead or something. We got to push it out of the way because other cars were trying to run into it.
Yeah, and it was. Fuck. Can you guys help us? We're on our way to Tommy YSO. No, we helped. And then afterwards we went to the store to buy spoons.
No, Jeff walked away oh fuck this guy, we don't care. And me and Ben were like, all right, we'll be decent human beings. Push out this car. Jeff was there, I guess.
Oh, remember that time we were at the sushi restaurant and Ben was all freaking out about his car? Are you guys sure you locked your doors? And yeah, we locked our doors. And you're like, oh, I'll check. And then you left the restaurant and you walked all the way back to Ben's car, and it turned out that I hadn't locked the door.
That I vaguely remember.
You remember that?
That's when he parked in the hospital parking lot, right?
Yeah, but they don't let you do that anymore.
No, they don't.
They block that off.
I hate to admit, man, it's starting to get late. I'm going to wrap it up.
You want to wrap it up?
Much as I would like to be here more, I got to drive back to Pendleton tomorrow.
I don't like that. You should stay.
If you can find me a job that pays just as good around here with the fantastic benefits I have.
Coffee Creek.
I'm never going to work with the females. I'm good. that is what goes on at Coffee Creek can be another podcast.
We've talked about it in the last one a little
I'd
bit.
rather shoot myself. The morale there is so low. There's no wonder it's the lowest vacancy prison we have.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So on that note, I'm Jeff Crenshaw.
I'm Zach Shannon.
And you've been listening to a very dark and twisted Heavy
Set
Go.
Wow. Whoa.
Working on the chain gang, baby. Prison.
No, it's that's the sound of the man working on the chain gang.
Don't you know?
That's the sound of the man working on the chain gang.
All along the same. I'm thirsty. My work is so hard. Give me water. Okay, that's it.
This is Heavy Set Go.